Just like the New York Jets offseason, their preseason began with some excitement. It was a trip to Canton with two Hall of Fame inductees. The team made their primetime debut on Thursday Night Football in a Hall of Fame game. For this fan and his family, we took the trip to take in the historic events and all the excitement. Hardknocks premiered and all the critics soon followed. We cover all this and more with this episode of The Takeoff. Okay, well, good evening, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is Thursday, August 10th, 2023, 7:17 p.m., and this is The Takeoff. I have preseason football next to me right now, watching the Patriots hosting the Houston Texans. A lot going on this week, a lot to talk about in Jetland. So let's go back to last week. Last week, of course, was Hall of Fame Enshrinement Week. It started with festivities throughout the week. Thursday night was the Hall of Fame game where the Jets and the Cleveland Browns played. 90% of the starters for both teams did not play. Deshaun Watson sat out. Aaron Rodgers sat out. Zach Wilson, I think, played almost two full quarters. He had a nice, few passes. Connected on a big one, I think it was like 46 yards. Had some batted down. All in all, an average game. Jets wound up losing. Then you had... on Friday, the gold jacket ceremony, and then Saturday was the enshrinement. My family and I went down there. We were supposed to go just for the Hall of Fame game and just go to the museum on Friday. Last minute, thanks to Peter Schwartz of WFAN, we decided to stay for the enshrinement. Let me tell you this. First of all, Canton, beautiful city. It is football through and through. The stadium, I think, holds like 15,000 people. It is an oversized football, high school football stadium, or an undersized college football stadium, whatever you want to call it. Even my wife said, it reminded her of a minor league baseball game where there was just concessions and there was activities going on. Concession stands were really, good priced. They really didn't price you out. And all in all, a nice crowd. Everybody just joking around and talking. Basically, taking in the festivities. Pre-game was all the inductees for this year were announced. During halftime, there was a ceremony for all the inductees in past years that weren't able to receive their rings. K Jewelers does their rings. So representatives from their families were there. So it was really good. I mean, the game was secondary, but it was nice to see our team on the field. And I'm, not going to go into the game. The game is a week old tonight, and honestly, I couldn't tell you much about the game except a lot of field goals. The Jets scored a touchdown, and the Browns won. Not much to say about that. Hard Knocks crew all over the place. Aaron Rodgers gave a wave and a wink as he walked by us. Pre-game, he was signing autographs on the field, so he was all smiles and doing what just looking happy. Had a little bit of a dry throat tonight. So that was our plan. We're going to the Hall of Fame game. Next day, we went to what they call the player walkthrough, and it was past inductees and current inductees that were walking for a photo op. It was in I don't know if it was northern Canton or downtown Canton. It was basically a quarter-mile walk, if that much. And it started at the hotel that all the inductees and, past Hall of Famers were staying at. It was really cool. First of all, there was maybe 100 fans total on the street. So we stood in the shade. Harry Carson actually walked past us on the sidewalk. I said good morning to him, very cordial. And then it started, and it was led by Marv Levy, so the head coach of the Bills, who was a Jet killer for many, many years in the 80s and 90s. And Marv was celebrating his 98th birthday last week. I want to say it was either Friday or Saturday. I don't think it was Thursday. He led it with Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith. Just to see these players walking right in front of you. They got old. You had Jerome Bettis and Bill Cowher. You had Emmitt Smith, DeMarcus Ware. You had Joe Klecko, Kevin Mawai, and of course Revis and a lot of others. Then they did a photo op, and they did the whole class of the past, and they did the current class. Then they did the anniversaries, 45-year anniversary, 35-year anniversary, 25-year, so on and so forth. When that was over, we were headed to, our plan was to go to the museum, and then go to Thurman Munson's grave. For those of you who know me, I'm a tremendous Yankee fan. Growing up, and Thurman Munson was my favorite. The only Yankee jersey I have ever owned is an away authentic Thurman Munson jersey. No name on the back. It's an authentic New York Yankees jersey. And I was heartbroken when he died. And then we were going to a dance studio that's part of Dance Moms that my girls watch. Then we're going to dinner, and then the next day we're getting on the road to leave. And we're leaving the photo op. The players dispersed, and a gentleman came over to me. It was Peter Schwartz from WFAN, who, first of all, if you're in the area, New York area, you get WFAN, listen to him. He has different time slots. He does the overnights. He does the updates during the morning sometimes. Really, really good. A local man, from Long Island. So really nice. Got to meet his two sons and his wife. My family, my two daughters and my wife spoke to them. And he was headed to see Thurman Munson's grave as well. He says he visits it every time he's in the area in Canton. And then he asked me about the enshrinement. And I was like, no, we're headed back to New Jersey tomorrow. Really couldn't pull off the game in the enshrinement. He's like, listen, tickets are still on sale. They're like $35 a piece. You don't want to miss it. So from Canton to home is a 7.5-hour ride with no stops, almost 8 hours with stopping for gas or to get a beverage or whatever. So the enshrinement would end about 2:30, which means I'd get home about 10:30. I wasn't sure, asked the kids, asked my girls, asked my wife, and they said it's up to me, but they would like to do it. So make a long story short, we got tickets, and thank you, Peter Schwartz, because it was an amazing experience going to the enshrinement. But before we get to the enshrinement, went to the museum. The museum was outrageous. It was packed to the gills because everybody was in for either the game the night before or the enshrinement the next day. I don't think we saw everything, but we, saw the different, the first helmet, the first uniform, the first season tickets, the contracts, that kiosks with videos playing. Then we went and we saw the different busts that were there. And of course, it was, Joe Namath we saw, Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawae, trying to think who else really stood out. Deion Sanders, Tom Landry, Dan Marino. Just to see these things was amazing. They had Patrick Mahomes' jersey, Tom Brady's jersey. So it was an experience. Next day, so we leave, we go home that afternoon, and it was a long day. It was a hot day. We go back to the hotel, we rest up, we're going to go for dinner, and can't find a place to go for dinner. So we go back to the Canton, the Hall of Fame Village, and we're going to go to a restaurant there, and it was, not much on the menu that we liked. It was more of a brewery, so not our cup of tea. We're going to go into Don Shula's. It was kind of packed, didn't really want to wait. At this point, it's like 8:30. So all right. So we're going to drive around. So we're driving around, and we're like, let's just park here and find out. So we pull into this parking lot in the Canton Village, and they're redoing the whole village. They're adding a water park. They're adding other attractions. I mean, it's just amazing. In a couple of years, that place is going to be, just even more beautiful than it is now. So we pull into a parking lot, and the nice pass and catch here for the Patriots. So we pull into a parking lot, and there's one car there, and it says permit only. And I was told my wife, I really can't park here. I don't want to get towed in Canton. It's Friday. I won't get the car back until Monday. But look, there's that family walking to that car there. Let's ask them if they have a pass, or do they just park here? So we pull up, and it's two ladies and a gentleman. And I pull up next to the car, and I roll the window down on my wife's side, and she goes, "Excuse me." And I look out, and I go, "Oh my God, Coach Sweatsoff. Sorry to bother you, but we're tremendous fans." And my wife goes, "We were just asking for information on the parking lot, but my husband knows you from the Jets, so Coach Mike Westhoff, special teams coach, um, he says, "Get out of the car." So he gets out of the car. He comes over, shakes my hand. Now my kids said it was the first time they ever saw me starstruck. That I was kind of babbling my words. I have met Joe Namath. I have DJ'd for the New York Mets. I've DJ'd with Joe Namath there. I've met tons and tons of players. I have met singers. I have met actors and actresses. For some reason, just meeting him this way, where it was one-on-one, and not just waiting to take a picture, not just waiting for an autograph, but to speak to him, I got nervous. But a true gentleman. He had told me he was back in Denver, that he worked with Sean Payton with the Saints, and Sean Payton called him up when he got the Denver gig, and he's in Denver now. And he left to come in for Zach Thomas, because it was him and Jimmy Johnson that actually drafted Zach Thomas from Miami. So he was there for him. He knows Joe, and he was there for Darrell as well. Took a few pictures, shook my hand, and I thanked him. And I said to him, you were great on the team, and you were great in Hard Knocks. And I'll get to the Hard Knocks quote later on. So took that picture. You talk about just taking a chance and pulling up to some of the extra directions, and it's Coach Westhoff, just amazing. So thanks, Coach Westhoff, for taking the time. You were a true gentleman, and it was great to meet you. So next day, we get to the enshrinement, and it was wonderful. First of all, Zach Thomas gave the first speech, and he thanked Jimmy Johnson, he thanked Coach Westhoff and everybody in the Miami Dolphins. He spoke about his past, he spoke about his college, and at the end he broke down talking about Junior Seau. Joe Klecko went fourth, and I have to tell you, Joe, as nervous as he looked, was both funny, he was entertaining, he was emotional. Between him and Zach Thomas, I only stayed up until Revis, so I only stayed for the first 6. I didn't see the last 2. Him and Zach Thomas were the 2 best speeches. He spoke about how his wife got him into football and forced him to take the tryouts for a professional team, for a semi-professional team. He spoke about Marty and Gastineau and Abdul Salam, Richard Todd, Teddy O'Brien, just the love that he had for New York. He thanked Mr. Hess. He thanked Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson. He made jokes about salaries from when he was playing and salaries now. He introduced his family, religious aspect of it. I mean, he was true emotional. It ended with him having Fireman Ed do the Jets chant, the Jets, Jets chant a few times. And you could see he broke up a few times. So my daughters know Darrelle Revis through watching the games. They met him a few times. So they knew more of him than they did Joe Klecko. So they wanted to stay for Revis. Revis's mom did his presentation, Marty Lyons and Joe Klecko's, and it was great. Revis's mom was very outspoken about him, like a mom would brag about her child. Let me tell you, I thought Revis was first ballot Hall of Famer like he is. He was a shutdown corner. He was an integral part of our defense, an integral part of other teams' strategy against us. No doubt about it. Please do not think I'm taking away anything from this man. But Revis's speech was more about his wealth as a player and his self-worth as a player than it was about the love of the game or the team. He spoke about how his uncle, who was also a professional football player, and his name slips my mind, would give him $50 for every pass defended and $100 for every interception as he was growing up. He says, and that made me realize my self-worth and my value. To me, it was more of justifying all the holdouts he had. And to go back to some of the holdouts when he on Hard Knocks, there's a point where Rex is yelling that Revis has 3 years left on his contract, and they're trying to renegotiate. His camp's trying to renegotiate. So I take nothing away from Revis. Revis deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, first ballot. He deserves every accolade that he gets. He went to New England to win a Super Bowl, and he got it. He came back to the Jets. Some say he gave up on that 2015 season. I don't know, but to look at Revis now, he does not look like an athlete. He has that dad bod going. But congratulations to Revis. I was a little disappointed in his speech. He did point out that Jet fans did cheer for him while he was on the Jets. They did boo him and burn his jerseys when he went to the Patriots and Tampa Bay. And then when he came back to the Jets, we welcomed him with welcome arms, with open arms. We did. Like I said, he was an integral part. So as far as the Hall of Fame, it was, if you can make the trip, wonderful experience. I think if you're just going to the museum, then do other things in Cleveland. Go to a Guardians game, maybe go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're going during football season, maybe take in a Browns game or a Bengals game, something like that in your travels. But if you go for Hall of Fame Enshrinement Week, it was well worth it. I'll take this for the rest of my life. Definitely a bucket list, and I thank my children and my wife for getting me the gift for my birthday to go to the Hall of Fame, and then adding on to it and making a whole long weekend out of it. So again, if you can make this trip, I highly recommend it. Again, I thank my wife and my daughters, and they had a great time too. And I'm going to post some pictures, and here are some pictures with from us, and also Mike Westhoff and Peter Schwartz, from the festivities. So again, I hope everybody enjoyed the pictures. It was an experience. So let's talk Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks premiered the other night. What was it? Tuesday night, the 8th. And I'm just going to say this: if you were expecting the Rex Ryan Hard Knocks, the first episode did not even come close. And I'm not saying it was a bad episode, but if you expected the rah-rah, let's go get a bleeping snack, and F this and F that and all that, this was far from it. Yes, there was some F-bombs dropped, but this was not your Rex Ryan's Hard Knocks. Now, a few things. I don't know if they pulled back on it a little bit. I don't know if Coach Saleh made them pull back on it a little bit. I don't know if there was just nothing to pull back on, and that was it. This is the way they act. I don't know. I will say it was a little bit boring compared to the Rex Ryan Hard Knocks. It kind of threw me for a loop at the beginning. But listen, it covered from a ton of Aaron Rodgers. It covered Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Zach Wilson, Quinnen Williams, and Coach Saleh. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 7. Okay? Didn't fail, but it didn't blow me out of my seat. So yesterday, I'm in the car, and I'm driving home from work, and I'm stuck in traffic. I'm actually going to work first, and the afternoon crew on the local radio station is just beating up Coach Saleh and Hard Knocks, and how Aaron Rodgers is going to run the team, and Coach Saleh doesn't have the alpha male attitude, and now listen, my thing is, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. This is what is edited and put on TV. Also, they do One Jets Drive, which is a jet production. So unless you can compare both of them, and I haven't watched One Jets Drive, I don't know what this true feeling is. Now, yes, when you watch past Hard Knocks, and I give this to one of the commentators, he's like, if you watch the past Hard Knocks, you knew McCarthy, Coach McCarthy, you knew this coach in Miami, you knew this coach in here, they weren't up to the task. This is showing me the same thing as Coach Saleh. I can't agree with that. I can't deny that either, because I have nothing to base it on. When you see Coach Saleh on the sidelines, he's passionate. He's jumping up and down. He had to pay receipts last year. That quote. So I don't know. To me, it was a let's crap on the Jets day yesterday. Um, you know, and what didn't help was in the afternoon show, one of the leads was on vacation. BT was on vacation. So his co-host or his partner and somebody else co-hosted the show with them. In the afternoon, the two stars of the show were out, and two other guys stood in. Maybe they wanted to try to, get some clickbait. Maybe they wanted to get the phones ringing. You had some Jet fans calling it and agreeing with them. They just, crapping all over Coach Saleh. He doesn't know how to run a team. Last year, everybody forgets this. Last year, when you won 5 games in a row, okay, and Zach Wilson beat Buffalo in MetLife, and playoff talk was starting, and the increase in our ticket started. Everybody was ready to put Coach Saleh up as Coach of the Year, and the defense, and now all of a sudden it's a little different, after Hard Knocks. But everybody forgets that 2 weeks ago, the Jets were going to the Super Bowl because Aaron Rodgers, so the bipolar attitude is just it's crazy. And I don't blame anybody, because when you're a Jet fan, you have emotions from here to rock bottom to we haven't hit the pinnacle yet. Only a few fans that I know saw that Super Bowl 3. So, Aaron Rodgers came in. He said all the right things. He's doing all the right things. At Hard Knocks, he's teaching Zach Wilson. He's talking. And then they have the people who are in awe of Aaron Rodgers on the show. Maybe some of that is embellished because of the cameras. It's scripted. I don't know. What I do know is on August 10th, 5 weeks away from opening day, I can't tell you what kind of coach and what kind of team we have right now. I don't know. You got to remember, in 2 years, he won 11 games. 4 the first year, okay? And that was, his first season with the team, and then 7 last year. And if you remember, they had that 5-game win streak last year, where they beat Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, where they beat the Buffalo Bills, where they beat the Miami Dolphins, where they beat the Denver Broncos, and then you're going to say, well, the quarterback wasn't that good, Aaron Rodgers was hurt. Then somebody comes up, well, Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. So you cannot make anybody happy. If they would have got David Carr and they said, all right, we're on a 5-year program to win the Super Bowl, people would say, we got to wait 5 years. You pull in Aaron Rodgers, you say, listen, we're going for it all. Within 1 or 2 years, we got to, we're taking a chance on 1 or 2 years. So, Jets fans, what's going to make you happy? And I said this time and time again, and this was my father. If you ever saw the movie Major League 2, okay, you have the people that stay in the bleachers, okay, and you have Randy Quaid. And Randy Quaid throughout the whole season is just crapping on the team, and finally when they get to the pennant, and they're in the lead, so the guy next to him goes, with 3 outs away from the World Series, and he goes, they're going to blow it in the ninth. And they all start hitting him with the hats, and he runs away. When they win, he comes back, and they're jumping up and down. He goes, I knew we'd win. And you know what? That's just what it is. I go into every season with hope. I go into every season excited, but I go into every season realistic. Okay? I went into the 2009 season with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback, coming off a team with Brett Favre the year before that just missed the playoffs, saying, all right, if we make the playoffs, it'll be okay. And we were literally 4 plays away from the Super Bowl. I went to 2010 with higher expectations and literally 1 play away from the Super Bowl. I went to 1999 thinking we're going to the Super Bowl, and an hour and a half into the game, I'm watching Tom Tupa throw a touchdown pass because Vinny Testaverde is getting ready for surgery for his Achilles. You don't know. But you can enjoy, you can have expectations, just be realistic. You know? And perfect example, pro baseball in New York. Last year, the Mets won over 100 games. The Yankees fell 1 game short of 100 games. Both went to the playoffs. The Mets got bounced in the first round. The Yankees get bounced in the second round. The Yankees got bounced in the second round. This year, neither team is going to make the playoffs. Possibly 2 managers in New York getting fired. Although I don't see Aaron Boone going anyplace because the Yankees just won't make any moves. But that's my point. Just have some expectations, but be realistic, but enjoy yourself. Aaron Rodgers is here. He's going to make Garrett Wilson better. He's going to make the running game better. You know, yes, our left tackle and our offensive line scares me, but let's get through these games and see what's going on. The season goes too damn fast. Okay? Last year I said I wanted to be playing meaningful games past Halloween, and we were. I wanted to play meaningful games past this Thanksgiving, and we were. You know what? We were playing meaningful games into December. We just didn't win any. So that's what we need. This year, you got to play meaningful games through December into January. And I'll give my prediction on the schedule, according to the schedule, just before the first game. So back to Hardknocks, like I said, it wasn't like it was with Rex. It was a little bit more subdued. Coach Saleh gave a speech, and the radio station really annoyed me because they were making fun of the speech. They said the players were making faces. They were making sounds. Basically, he was saying that an eagle will attack a crow. Okay, but as the crow can fly higher, the pressure makes it harder for the other bird, the predator, to breathe, and basically the predator dies. Okay? He's saying you have to fly high, you have to get to that height and kill off your predators, fight them off. Also, the motto, so the Jets with Rex was play like a Jet. With Bill Parcells, after the 97 season, was take the next step. Okay, I know Rex had one also. It had the boiling point, I think it's at 212 degrees for boiling water. That's when water turns to steam. This year it's what next? Okay, you finished your block, what's next? You made the run, what's next? Okay, so he's holding players accountable and he's not keeping them satisfied with just what they're doing. What's next? What else can I do? You know, until we see the product on the field in a real game, and we probably won't see all the starters at one time until game 1 on September 11th, we really can't tell. And that Bills game is going to be a tremendous, a tremendous test, you know. But we'll get into that sooner. They also were talking about how the schedule makers, and this is great. So week 1, the Giants are opening up Sunday Night Football against Dallas. Week 1, Jets open up Monday Night Football against the Bills. Week 2, okay, the Jets have a 4:15 with Dallas, and I think the Giants are playing an AFC team. Okay? Then there's another week where the Jets have a 4:15 game against the Eagles, and the Giants have a Sunday night or a Monday night game against the Bills. So there are weeks where you're going to be a Giant fan, and the Giant fans are going to be Jet fans. So the schedule makers, you know, did some good things. Keep it with the Hardknocks. So again, I said with Rex and Saleh, the speeches were a lot different. Rex was talking about the logo on the helmet, and it's special, and what the f do you know what to do, and you know what the f I want from you, blah blah blah. Salah and Ehrlich, they did drop some f bombs, but they wasn't as that. Going back to Coach Mike Westhoff, he had three great scenes in the show. I think that stood out to me. One was when he addressed his special teams players and the rookies, and he said, to make this team as a rookie, you're going to go through special teams. And he spoke to them about he had cancer in his leg bone, and at one point didn't know if he was going to live. He walked for many years with a cane and a limp when he was on the sidelines with the Jets, and then he actually has a titanium leg, I believe, from above his knee down to his ankle. And he spoke about that, and you're not knowing what the next day holds, holds for you, and don't take anything for granted, which was very emotional, and it got them going. The second one was he was talking to Rex, and Rex had, so Hardknocks was following these 3 or 4 guys trying to make the team. And these guys were, always dinged up and always on the exercise bikes on the sidelines. And Rex said something like, the Patriots just recovered a fumble. Rex said something to Westhoff, and Westhoff said, you got these guys training for the Tour de France here. They're not training for football. And then one of the guys that was actually on the cycles later on, he had an Italian name, but he wasn't Italian. Westhoff told Rex, or he told Mike Tannenbaum, this guy doesn't belong here. He's not playing right. Have him go to the Bronx, open up his pizzeria already, just get out of here. And I thought that was great. And I said that to Mike Westhoff. I don't think he remembered that. But it made a lot of, enjoyable context. Like I said, I'm going to follow it because I can't get enough of the team. I think the critics were very hard on it. I think a lot of it was to get the phone calls from Jet fans. A lot of Jet fans agree with them, and some of them didn't. They said, Jet fans are counting, their playoffs, in Super Bowls right now. Believe me, any realistic Jet fan, anyone who's seen this team knows that nothing is for granted. We went into Buffalo in 2015 with a win and you're in, and we lost to Rex in a game where Fitzpatrick threw like 5 interceptions. So nothing is ever a gimme, especially with this team, especially with the NFL. So want to hear from you. I met some really great Jet fans out there. Gotham City crew, shout out to you. Again, Peter Schwartz. People sit at a hotel. People sit next to us. And Browns fans are just like Jet fans. They're as loyal as we are. There was somebody wearing a shirt that says, we almost won that game. I think we're going to win this game. We're going to win. Oh, we almost won. No, we lost. And I just said that has to be in a green and white shirt as well. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience. If you were out there, please let me know, what you did, where you hung out, what you saw, if you met anybody. Your experience. Send us your pictures. You can email them to the Jets Takeoff at gmail.com. You can tweet them. Our Twitter handle is the Jets Takeoff, or at the Jets Takeoff, I should say. You could find us on Facebook at the Takeoff. You can also find us here on YouTube with the account name is the Takeoff. The channel name is the Jets Takeoff. You can Google it. You could subscribe to it. You can Google Alex Parziali to find the videos, or you can look in YouTube for it. Subscribe. You'll get alerted when it comes up. And we're on TikTok. And my first TikTok will be soon. I want to show you my new room. We did the room over. You can see the jerseys behind me. I'll go here a little bit quickly. We got the little helmets. We got the bobbleheads. Go here a little bit. I don't do that shelf yet. And we have, the other walls too. So check us out. Let us know about, what your plans are. You're going to Carolina. In fact, just some notes. The Jets and the Panthers practiced yesterday, a joint practice. And they were supposed to practice today, but there was inclement weather in Carolina, so they did separate practices today. So that's it. Have a great rest of the week. Have a blessed day, a blessed weekend, however you want to say it. Happy birthday to my daughter Victoria. She's out with her friends and her sister now partying, I guess, or enjoying dinner. And we'll talk to you after the preseason game. Jets at Carolina on Saturday. And let's take it from there. And then we have Hard Knocks on next Tuesday. Go Jets.